Incredibly, the Angling Times Drennan Cup started up 40 years ago, and in all that time it's usually been won by anglers catching multiple fish and nowadays multiple species. This year, this last season, 2024-25, it's been won for the first time by a single fish, and what fish that is, a magnificent eel of 11 pounds 3 ounces caught by this man, Steve Ricketts, God bless him.
Yep.
They voted you the winner. The voting is nothing to do with us. The voting is all down to the anglers who've previously won nowadays. So we're not influencing it at all. Angling Times aren't influencing it at all. It's all down to popular vote. And somehow Steve has come out with this single giant mysterious species at 11 pounds 3 ounces. And it's what you focus on, mate,
yeah,
all the time.
I've fished for a long time, and it's really surprising that I know an eel like that is a really special capture, but for a lot of anglers, eels are not something that they actually want to catch, let alone target.
I've avoided them most of my angling life. That when I was a kid in Ireland, I caught one of, I guess in retrospect, it was about £1.5 pounds, but this would be back in the 1950s, and I was trying to unhook it, and it wrapped itself around my arm. I didn't like that. So with cowardice or whatever it was, I didn't fish for them. But you've dedicated your whole angling life to them.
Yeah, I suppose because of my upbringing, being brought up in South London and fishing the Thames and the docks, at that time it was one of the only fish I could catch.
Right.
And once they're into your blood, it's like most fishing, it's how you start, and that's the way you sort of end up. And I've always wanted to catch a bigger one and a bigger one, and you just keep trying.
And you've reached the top of the pile now. And,
well,
and
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you said that on your original film, so you'll keep going. You think you might get the 12-pounder or something.
I think there's bigger fish out there, but it's the same as everything. We all chase dreams, we all chase hopes. If you don't think you're going to catch a bigger fish, or going to go out and do it next time, why still go?
It's a funny dedication. There's only a few of you who are absolutely dedicated to eels, single species, but somehow you've touched the hearts of the specimen hunting fraternity. They've realised that you've spent a whole life focused on them, and you're getting your rewards and your recognition. Yeah. But I have to say, over its 40 years, it's gained an awful lot of prestige and heritage. And some people work very, very hard to try and catch the right fish and get in the trophy. Yeah,
it's almost a shame really that my one fish has knocked out people that have gone all over the country trying to catch fish.
And we had a mega season, 24-25. Steve Gibbons was in the Angling Times for 9 separate weeks, and a really diverse range of species over it. And one of the other guys, Neil Woodward, he was in there 7 times with different fish.
Well, I can offer him some hope. If the eel record goes on average every 40 odd years, they've got a long time now.
They've got a free run at it.
They've got a free run for a while.
Okay, fair enough, mate. But when you look at the heritage on there, people like Terry Lampard that won it, Terry did nothing but live on the water. Yeah. And he was in the right area at the right time. And he caught a lot of fish for a lot of years and was a lovely man. Yeah. So he had a bit of a run at it, but very few people have won it more than once. Very, very few. But it's got this heritage now, and it's a prestigious thing. We're running into trouble, of course. We've got AI coming on, so we're a bit worried about what will happen to a basically photographic competition to prove the worth and the merit of these fish. So we don't want anybody stretching eels or putting any more than 12 inches on the girth.
No, but there was one that someone published, in the magazine that said that 18 pound from Belgium. And you can see that picture's a fake straight away.
Ah, okay, fair enough. But yours was 47 inches long.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous. I put this out, look at that. 1.2 metres.
Yep, but I've had fish almost as long as that as well that haven't weighed that much. And I think what we're saying now about people have said is, do you think there's bigger eels out there? I think a lot of the carp lakes we've got could possibly hold bigger fish because the eels have changed their diet.
Okay.
They're not now just feeding on worms and small fish. I think the bigger eels are now moved on to especially pellet and boilies.
Right.
Yeah, I've caught eels now, and you felt the stomachs, and you can feel them in there like a beanie bag.
You'd have to fish a carp water though, with a lot of these mad carp anglers around.
Yeah, but you have to fish a carp water that's not full of carp. If you go to a water that's like a commercial that's full of pasties,
Right.
every time you put a pellet on or a boiler, you're going to catch a carp.
So you want something that's had some bait in it.
So you want something that's been pretty well fished. You know, the fish are quite clued up, and you can get away with then, like I do, quite crude.
Now, on
methods.
the main carp scene, I haven't done much of it in my life. It was too static and time consuming for me. But on the main carp scene, the 1 or 2 waters I fished, I did catch the thickest carp in the lake, the stupid one that everybody caught. Did you get these eels sharpening up? Are they clever? Or are they too mysterious and separated?
The mysterious is the main thing. We don't know so much about them. You know, we have ideas. You know, they completely turn us around. The water I'm fishing, or the couple of waters I'm fishing in Kent at the moment, all the eels come out during the day. On 9, 10 o'clock at night, you can go to bed. All you'll catch at night is occasional bootlace. But then, when I spent all my time in the Colne Valley, you would never catch a fish during the day. It was all night.
Right.
So that turns it on its head.
Okay.
You know,
So it's their habits more than them wising up like general coarse fish.
But the one thing we have noticed is that if you're the first person on the lake that hasn't been fished for a while, and I think this probably applies to a lot of fish, they're fairly easy to catch. You'll catch a lot of fish the first season.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't caught a fraction of fish in that lake, the following season, they become really hard to catch.
Right. Yeah.
Why that is, I don't know, because there's lots more, you know, eels in lakes than we've ever caught in one season. But it just seems to get harder the following year.
Tell me about the tackle, because to me it seems a bit like pike fishing, and it's a bit crude by match fishing standards, certainly. What sort of lines and rods are you on? What sort of test curve are you on?
I've had them for a long time. There's 3-pound test curve rods.
Right.
I liked them. They're playing rods. They're not really big casting rods. You know, probably 70, 80 yards is about as much as you can chuck a 3-ounce lead. And that's it now. And what has changed, we used to use quite long hook lengths.
Okay.
You know, use wire a lot of the time. And again,
because of other species.
I use wire mainly because if you picked up pike, they would bite through your trace.
Yeah.
But also on some lakes, again, it depends when you start to catch a few fish. Some eels have actually got teeth, and they don't bite through your line, as in the fact that they chomp it.
Okay.
But what they do is when they shake their head, they got lots of little diamond teeth, and they will abrade through it. And as you know, the more tension you've got on the line, which not quite often equates to the bigger fish, it's easier to cut through.
You said some eels have got those teeth. Does that mean it's not uniform?
No.
Ah.
I suppose more people relate to it as catfish. You know, if you catch a catfish in the wild, it's got sharp teeth. But if you catch them in commercials where they've been eating pellets, they tend to be ground down to almost pads. The lake I'm fishing at the moment, the bigger eels in there, because of their diet, I'll get in the way with using quicksilver as a hook length because they don't bite through it.
Blimey.
But I could go to another lake and I'd use quicksilver and they would bite through it, or it'd come in all chaffed up.
This is a true focused angler, concentrating 100% on eels, and my gosh, he's got the reward. So Steve Ricketts is now the record eel holder at £11 3 ounces. He's the Drennan Cup winner by popular vote, and we are very, very pleased to have him on board on this trophy.